What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. I want to give a shout out to brother Big Mike out of Chicago, and he's been really over here in the manosphere since I started. Like, I would say about 2017, 2016. I started a little bit before that. But Big Mike has always been over here from the Shy. Give him a round of applause because he's one of the guys. Him and like DJ Killzone Jones, they always been supporting us, right? So give him a round of applause. Your brothers is faithful. So he sent me this message and he goes this. Stay music. What's up? It seems that Donovan Sharp is getting into it with Steve the Dean. Wow. So I put send me the clip. He's like, it's okay, it's on Steve the Dean's Facebook page. Okay. And basically I went and checked it out. And there are a few clips you're probably going to see right now. Because I wanted to understand how Donovan and Steve the Dean got into it. Let me just give you a little bit of a history. Steve the Dean, I know Steve the Dean personally. You guys know he was on the Brother Pill season 1. Me and LAR. I like Steve. Steve is funny. We have totally different views on the black community and things like that. We don't do shows anymore. I met Steve with my relationship with Alan Roger Curry. So once I started bringing in the dating guys into the manosphere as far as doing collaborations with them, then me and Steve the Dean started doing some of the first earlier dating shows and stuff like that. Then, after, Steve the Dean was a big Alpha Male Strategies beef. That was real interesting. So that's how I know Steve. And most of you guys know how I know Donovan Sharp. I actually met Donovan Sharp around the same time that I met Steve through Obsidian. So that's kind of how we formatted the current version of, let's say, the Negro Manosphere that included a lot of the dating advice that came into the black manosphere through those kind of guys, through Steve, Alan Roger Curry, guys like Ron Wills, dating experts who brought a lot of value over to the market. And what happened is, once Donovan Sharp left the black manosphere, Donovan Sharp went over to the 21 convention. Now, over the 21 convention, at that time, they were still going strong. They had, Richard Cooper was over there. Rollo Tomasi was over there. Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson had, all the guys in the manosphere coming to his event, speaking for his event. Now, around this time, I think that Steve got in contact with Donovan or vice versa. And then Donovan was the person that put in a good word with Anthony Johnson about Steve the Dean. So what happened was, the first African-American guys you had like Alan Roger Curry, Donovan Sharp. Then Steve the Dean started speaking at, Anthony Johnson's events, 21 convention. In fact, there was a 21 convention that was here in Poland that Steve the Dean came to speak at. So from, all intents and purposes, there was a relationship between Donovan and Steve the Dean. What happened was, I think as Donovan started to make a split away from the 21 convention, he started a show called The 7. And that 7 has alternated between, guys like Kevin Samuels, Myron Gaines. Now you have my boy Book of Alpharonomy over there. Hotep Jesus is over there. Coach Greg Adams, Minister's Jab. Solo TV 84 was on the 7. But Lucario was on the 7. But at one point, Steve the Dean was on the 7, okay? And Steve and Donovan both have different approaches to game. Steve a little bit more old school and traditional. Donovan a little bit more, he has his own way of doing things. I do like Steve's dating advice. Donovan has good stuff too. So I'm not going to choose who has a better approach. But Steve is very hard on men with the game. He was very hard on black men over here, right? So a lot of times when Steve would come out and say something about how women are treating men, Steve's response is, well, women treat you as you allow them to. Okay. A lot of guys are not taking ownership of them in the game. And so that's why women do this. And Steve thinks that his opinion, even for black men who blame black women, that it's really weak to blame women for the problems that you can fix yourself. Donovan, on the other hand, voiced this out, and he said that, hey, you know, the problem that I have with Steve is that, you know, everything that you can't always blame men for. You know, some of these guys have not been taught, and what Steve does in his advice is Steve points out the problems, but he doesn't show you how to solve it. Which I disagree with that. I think Steve is pretty thorough in his dating advice. He might not be the most popular guy, and obviously he can't get along with, you know, certain people, especially in the dating industry. But to be honest, Steve's dating advice is pretty thorough. I think to a certain degree it's pretty unique. I'm 40, so I mean, I can't say that Steve doesn't give good dating advice, because I think he does. Actually, now Steve has actually now responded to Donovan on Facebook, and you're seeing the screenshots here, pretty much calling him a crybaby and all of this. But interestingly enough, I want to say this: both Steve and Donovan felt like the black manosphere was at the time too ghetto, right? And they felt like it would be better that they go to the greater manosphere audience, reach more people, things like that. Both of them do not deal with black women, or as far as dating. So you would think that both of them would have a lot in common, and this is somebody that, you know, like Steve would be like really cool with. But as it seems, this disagreement is still happening, which is outside of the black manosphere. Okay. Now, one of the other things too that I think that could have this doing is that Steve, I feel, believes that, I think he's talked about this too, that the way Donovan handled the Anthony Johnson situation was just not cool. I think I've seen Alan Roger Curry post something to that narrative when Anthony Johnson came out with that video that exposed Donovan. But I know Steve's very loyal. So I think that what Steve feels is that Donovan pretty much on purpose tried to take down the 21 convention, because, you know, Coach EO, who was over with the 21 convention, then left the 21 convention and came to Donovan's event. And so that could have something to do with it. But at the end of the day, you know, it's interesting to see this particular feud happen outside of the black manosphere, because when Donovan Sharp was talking about the black manosphere, it was too much drama. Donovan Sharp has managed to get himself into a lot of drama after leaving this community. And to be fair, since he's left, this community has flourished more without him. Okay? If we want to be honest, you know, I'm not trying to take a shot at him or anything, but that's just the truth. His position was, it was too ghetto, we had too much drama. But once he was out of the community, it's flourished quite well. I'm not saying he was the only problem, but you know, it's safe to say that it's really taken off without him being here. Okay, and the same thing even with Steve. No disrespect to Steve, but you know, both of those guys were kind of problematic and hard for other guys to get along and work with. And now you're seeing that there is a difference of these things. I know Steve was gonna have a show that's gonna really come hard at Donovan. I'm pretty sure. Knowing Steve, there's gonna be a lot of, you know, B words being dropped. Knowing Steve is gonna be, Steve is petty. I will be checking into that and probably responding to that. But you know, I think that is just, you know, in that dating coach market is it's also competitive because it's about money, right? Guys are making money on clients. Guys are making money from courses. Both Donovan and Steve do sell courses. I do understand that when you guys sell courses and have products, residual passive income products like that, it tends to be more competitive because they're both, you know, in the same market competing for customers. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson. back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe with the bell. Check out the first comment at the top. As you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out. Don't forget the Black Men First t-shirts. Peace.